Wrestling Marks of Excellence. I'm your host, G-Lo, with Nephew Corey and Dr. D. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a special show for you tonight. This show is brought to you by Tradition Wings and Things down in Petersburg off of Crater 2401 Crater Road. Tradition Wings and Things. Where you want wings, Tradition has them. Go to www.traditionswithaz.com and check out Tradition Wings in Petersburg. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I got my nephew on a call tonight. Hasn't been here in a while. Talk to him, nephew.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? This Nephew Corey, the place to be. Finally, I've been able to join the show, and the collective firm known as collective unit known as the firm is finally in the building for real.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got it's big. I'm nervous. We got one of the greatest in the building in the house today. But before we get to them, we want to touch on a little bit. We want to touch on Monday Night Raw. Well, this week on Raw that you saw Truth and Miz come back, rehired. You saw Laurinaitis become the interim general manager, and you've seen a lot of matches. You've seen Cody Rhodes really get over this week. You've seen Christian with a faction. Man, ladies and gentlemen, wrestling business is about to pick up for the holidays. We're almost less than a month away from Survivor Series, 2 weeks away from Vengeance. But without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, all the way from Temple Hills, Maryland, the leader and the founder of the firm, by way of Temple Hills, Maryland, Newark, New Jersey. Excuse me. He's the Smart Mark heavyweight champion, Dr. D. Sing to him, baby.
The story goes like this. Girls and boys, welcome to the island of misfit toys, where you won't find Rudolph and Yukon Jack. You'll find the most internationally known, unknown, and homegrown group of smart marks in professional wrestling and sports entertainment today. What's going down, Mark Nation? This is your world smart mark champion, your Mark Knight, your Mark Marvel, your Mark of Steel, Dr. D, the Doctor of Devastation, the Almanac of Information, the Mark of Excellence, and yes, as always, I am a mark for this business, the firm. The firm is indeed in the building, making ourselves known to all the millions. Now, any questions, comments, shout-outs, promotions, like us at Dr. D and the firm on Facebook. Follow us at Firm Wrestling on Twitter. Also, watch past episodes of the Dr. D Show on starringdaryljohnson.blip.tv with guests like Bret Hitman Hart, Superfly, the Jake the Snake Roberts, living legend Bruno Sammartino, unpredictable Johnny Rods, Axel Rotten, R-Truth, Bill Alfonso, and a host of others. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen? Finally, I don't want to use The Rock, but finally, the brand new monthly wrestling series, Dr. D and the Firm, is now online at starringdaryljohnson.blip.tv. And just for you fans who have been patiently waiting, it is also on YouTube. Make sure you check it out. It is a YouTube exclusive for all you Mark Nation fans. And once again, our special guest on the first episode, our WWE SmackDown superstar and six-time WCW WWE World Champ Booker T, and the longest reigning WWE Light Heavyweight Champion Gilbert, as we take a look inside his training academy featuring the stars of Maryland Championship Wrestling. Shout out to Brent Flater from GXW and David Emery last week. And also, let's go to our upcoming events. Let's get them out the way. Saturday, October 15th, this Saturday, GXW will be in Richmond at Mafosi's, ECWA, Newark, Delaware. Robbie E. from TNA will be giving a wrestling clinic, 3:30 to 5:30, and then their card, bell time, 7:30, featuring ROH's Adam Cole, a Future Shot. Then, of course, this Sunday, October 16th, TNA Bound for Glory, live in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Sting versus Hogan for the future of the company, and Bobby Roode versus Kurt Angle for the TNA World Title. We hope TNA does the right thing. Bobby Roode definitely deserves this moment. Friday, October 28th, NWL House of Pain. Let me rewind back. Friday, October 28th, NWL House of Pain, annual Monster Mash event, House of Pain, Hagerstown, Maryland. Now let me rewind back to WWE Vengeance this Sunday, October 23rd. And, of course, the firm, myself and Nephew Corey, will be at our good buddy Mr. X and Loafers in Catonsville, Maryland. And also Saturday, October 29th, GXW, who's been putting in work this month, will be at Prince George High School, MCW Maryland Championship Wrestling Tribute to the Legends, NWL House of Pain Halloween event in Martinsburg, West Virginia, and WUW World of Unpredictable Wrestling, Brooklyn, New York. Shout out to Mr. Johnny Rods. All right, without any further ado, the talk of the wrestling world has been centered around this pay-per-view. Not Bound for Glory, but it's AWE, Awesome Wrestling Entertainment, this Saturday, Night of the Legends live on pay-per-view from the Augusta Expo Center in Fisherville, Virginia. Shout-outs to AWE and Bob Trieger at Full Court Press for reaching out to me this week, because with all the legends signed up for this event, and if you go to officialawe.com for that, our guest this week has been having a 10-year shoot interview feud with his opponent this Saturday. Big Daddy Cool Diesel, Big Sexy Kevin Nash, big street fight this Saturday. I give to you one of the original tag team specialists from the legendary 8-time NWA World Tag Team Champions, the Rock and Roll Express. I give to you the one and the only Mr. Ricky Morton.
Wow, what an intro that was, guys. Man, thank you for having me on your show today, guys. I appreciate it.
Oh, man.
No problem. Anytime, Mr. Morton. Anytime.
All right. I got to get this flashback out of the way. My buddy, best friend Ali, and my very first time going to a wrestling event was in Washington, D.C., D.C. Armory, the week before Starcade 86. And just as we're at Will Call, I'm seeing all the wrestlers come in, and I'm like, wait a minute. The wrestlers actually come in from the front door? And then next thing you know, here comes Ricky and Robert, the Rock and Roll Express, in their third title reign as World Tag Team Champions. I nearly lost my mind when I first met you guys. And
wow, guys, what a compliment. I appreciate that. I get it.
And I tell you,
that was back in the day when wrestling was wrestling, guys. You understand me? It was
definitely.
What it was all about. And I appreciate all the great compliments you give me, guys. I gave my life to this business, and like you said, this coming Saturday night, I guess it's all the things I've said is going to come to a halt. You know, I mean, I got to man up to it. I'm going to, guys.
Well, we want you to indulge upon us, Mr. Morton. You know, how did it all begin for those fans that especially those that are new to knowing who Ricky Morton is, especially those that know who Kevin Nash is, but who may not know about the legendary Rock and Roll Express, you and Robert. Because I followed the shoot interview from back in the day 10 years ago when you broke this news to everyone about this thing between you and Kevin Nash. So take us to a brief history of how it all started and how it will culminate this Saturday.
Well, guys, it goes back to the days that, Robert and I, and not only Robert and I, it was all the guys back in those days that we worked hard. I mean, back in the days when Robert and I were on top, there wasn't no days off. We traveled everywhere, our Broadways every night. Then I went into a thing with Ric Flair, what was just if you read Ric Flair's book, it's 17-hour Broadways. I mean, that's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 17 straight in a row.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden, here goes the corporate business comes in with Time Warner and takes over. And the guys behind, where you have you people that's in the office that think they know everything about our business, and when it boils down to, they really knew nothing.
Right.
You take a company like Time Warner and you put it $500 million in the hole. Something is wrong. But nobody ever took the time to understand that after what we done, we worked the same pounds every week and sold them out every week, not every year, to come to us and tell us, just ask us one time for some advice. Ask me one time. But I'm still out here on the independent circuit. I've been out here for years.
Right.
And don't get me wrong, we don't have TV, we don't have things, but we do great business. And why? It's because we give the people what they want to see.
That's right.
Not what we think they want to see. We give them what they want to see.
Yeah.
And after all this come together with Kevin Nash, and it really wasn't, Kevin Nash was the biggest of the dogs. He was all of them. It's Eric Bischoff, all these guys that come in there and just thinking they know how to run things. That guy from St. Louis, Bill somebody that, can you imagine this, bringing in a tag team called the Ding Dongs from Bellevue? That's an insult to our business. It's an insult to anything. To slap us in the face, and then they all get their group together, their clique together, and what they do with the Rock and Roll Express. Here I am. I do all this feuding around. And don't get me wrong, boys, I'm not sitting here trying to think I know everything. I don't have the answers to everything either.
Right.
But there's one thing about it. I did this long stretch with Ric Flair. Here these guys come in and take over. Here they bring Jeff Jarrett in. And don't get me wrong, I'm not knocking him out. I've known Jeff since he was a kid.
Right.
Okay, they come to me and want me to put Jeff Jarrett over with the figure four. Now, I just did, a year ago with Ric Flair, where I never gave up in it. And I just told him, I said, guys, listen, man, look at me. Look what I'm doing. I'll put Jeff over. But to give up, I'm a baby face. I never give up. Oh, but if I don't give up the figure four, they're going to follow me. But, understand this right here, guys. I went out and I did my job. And after the show was over, I got up and I walked away because I wanted to let them know that I'm still a businessman. But understand what our business is all about. You see, my job on the independent circuit, and I'm telling you straight, is to sell more tickets. And when you sell more tickets, you sell more hot dogs.
That's right.
And these guys don't understand the fact of that because nowadays they got a guaranteed check that's in the mail every week. But they make more, and it's not that. Nobody owes me no money. Nobody owes me nothing like that. But these guys don't even realize they make more in a year than I made in 35 years in this business. And I made a lot of promoters rich. That's what I did. But when it come time to that, just ask us one time, you think it might work this way instead of doing it your way?
Right.
Because I know a little something about this business, okay, guys? And here's Kevin Nash. He's it's not going after, it's going after every one of them. But when you go after somebody, you go after the biggest one. And that's what it's all about, guys.
And Mr. Morton, this is Gilo here at Fox Sports Studios 1340. My question is to you, do you even watch the product today?
Yes, I do.
And how do you feel about the product? I mean, do you think it's more entertainment, as we all know, entertainment and less wrestling? I think you said it earlier. If it was more wrestling like the WCW Saturday nights or the Starrcade, do you believe that there would be more wrestling fans?
Well, it's like this, and don't get me wrong. You see, it's like any other sports too. They try to change and capture the young audience to build for the future of the business. But see, while they're doing that right there, they forgot about the old wrestling fans. There's a lot of them still out there.
Yes,
a lot
it
of them
is.
still like to watch the old wrestling instead of watching on TV. Now, I'm not knocking nobody. These guys are, especially like the group up north. And that's what I call them. They're a corporate business. They're going to make money no matter what they're going to do.
Right.
And when you go on there, they have some of the greatest talent. Not only talent, but if you notice these guys, they're great professional athletes. I mean, dude, you could tell these guys spend many, many hours in the gym and what they're doing. But sometimes you got to understand, before you could put a person in a position, he's got to be able to carry the load of that position.
Right.
You see, that's where I come in at. That's what I like to do.
Right.
I like to work with young guys. I let them know what they're doing. Now, I'm not, don't get me wrong, I'm not perfect. I can't throw the first stone at nobody.
Right.
But do understand me. I understand this business. I know what the people want to see. And before I like to have that part that before they put all that weight on this guy's shoulders, is to make him understand what our business is about. I go into a locker room and ask some of these young guys, ask them about an old wrestler. It's a history lesson. They don't know who the heck I'm talking about.
Right.
None of them know the history of professional wrestling, how it got there, what's there. On the independent circuit, you meet a lot of these guys that think they're going to be a star overnight, but they don't even know how the wrestling business even got where it's at today.
Right.
Now down south, we go down south now. Okay, not to say names, but look at them. What I'm trying to tell you guys is, you have to build your own talent.
Yeah.
You can't bring talent from somewhere else that somebody else don't want and bring in, then push it. You see, you got to learn how to build your own talent.
Right.
You got to learn how to do that. When they first started out, it was great, but look at it now. They're rehashing stuff that don't mean nothing. They're rehashing things that, you got to give these people what they want to see. You got to learn how to build your territory, build it around a situation that's different. I mean, don't go out there and try to compete with the same people.
Right.
Build your own wrestling business. Build it the way you want to see it.
And
I look at wrestling today. You got a lot of good guys out there, guys that work hard and they have a lot of hard talent, but they got to know what they're doing and how to hold that load and how to carry the company. It's not one person that thinks they know how to do it.
And I think that's the key. When you said it's not one person to do it, I remember watching the Rock and Roll Express and Dusty Rhodes and the Four Horsemen and everybody else that was in WCW and NWA at the time. It wasn't just that one person. You had a group of people that you could turn on a Saturday night or a Saturday afternoon or watch a pay-per-view, and you would see the Rock and Roll Express, and they had detailed storylines that had you leaving out talking about them the next week. I think some of the storylines in today's wrestling are very predictable.
And on top of that, I'm sorry, Mr. Morton. And on top of that, as I was sharing with somebody yesterday, people never knew, how did one person become a face? They often heard of the legends, but when they hear about the feuds and so forth, they're like, how did they become faces or heels? How did it become such great memorable moments? And the thing is, as I was sharing with the person, on how these things were built up, you think about, the tag team division from your era and even from the Attitude Era, and then next thing you know, I think about where did that all break off, and I think about the stars of today from when they were in the developmental territories or independence or however you want to call it, and from I would like to say from 2002, that's where it got lost. You stop seeing the tag teams, you stop seeing the managers because nobody took the time to keep that same formula going and making stars. They don't have to be in the ring, but they may have the gift of gab where they can talk people in the seats like you.
Yeah, buddy, and I'm glad you said something like this, especially about when it comes to tag team wrestling.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of people out here will say, and I'm being truthful, this is from my heart, and I'm going to go back to the tag team wrestling, but what you said earlier was, see, back in those days, we did not have guaranteed money. We got paid how many people were in the seats.
Right.
So understand, the boys, we had to depend on each other to make a living. See, so we didn't have the contracts, but we had each other. And what we did is we all worked together to make money, because if it didn't draw, buddy, you didn't get paid. And they say that today, and I heard this comment many times, especially like from the down south area, that tag team wrestling is dead. But understand me, guys, it's not the part that tag team wrestling is dead. And this is my opinion. Everybody's got one.
Yes,
the part is they don't know how to do it.
Right.
You see, nowadays, on these contracts, and you put a tag team together, and one of the baby faces or one of the heels is afraid the other one's going to get over better than him. And then they're out there, it's like they're in a competition mode when they're in the ring with each other. See, Robert, now we knew our job.
Right.
You guys seen me before. This is my job. My thing was to sell and give Robert a hot tag. Do you understand?
Yeah, absolutely.
I worked my butt off doing that. See, that nowadays they don't do that. If one of them does a high spot, the other one's got to copy.
Yeah.
And that's the way I look at it, boys, instead of working together.
Yeah.
This wrestling business is not dead. I've proved it many, many times.
Basically, you just got to have unselfish.
What it's all about is what they want to see.
You got to have unselfish people at that time.
You know what? I might as well throw this question in here from our fourth firm fight analyst, Keith Champ Creed out of New York City. I hope he's listening. He follows the MMA boxing realm, and he wanted to know, compared to how you broke in from back in the day, especially speaking to the young fan or the young aspiring wrestling superstar, whoever that may be who's listening. He wanted to know if you was to put yourself in the position where you broke into the business right now, and how would you be able to break into the business and draw with so many fans becoming that used to be wrestling fans, but now they follow UFC and MMA
and Mr. Morton, before you answer that question, Mr. Morton, let us pay some bills and go to a commercial break. Right before you answer that question,
man. I'll be walking down here. I'm doing this. I'm at a show right now. And I'm outside here trying to talk, and I sure will. Just tell me when we're back on, guys.
We can hit the commercial break real quick, Mr. Morton. We're gonna let you answer that question. Yes, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back. We got to pay some bills with legendary Ricky Morton, one half of the Rock and Roll Express. Join him this Saturday in Fisherville at AWE event this Saturday in Fisherville. We'll be right back after this commercial break.
Richmond area wrestling fans, the 10th month of the year has officially been renamed Shocktober by your friends at Ground Zero Wrestling. And Shocktober will prove to be the most energetic and electrifying where professional wrestling is concerned. Saturday, Shocktober 8th, join GXW at Club Aurora in Richmond. Saturday, Shocktober 15th, Mofazzi's of Richmond. And finally, Shocktober ends in a bang. Saturday, Shocktober 29th, GXW returns to Prince George County High School. Showtimes and pricing vary. Go to gxwwrestling.com for more details. Shocktober will be the greatest month of 2011 if you're a wrestling fan, as there will be many Impact Zone superstars joining your GXW favorites. Don't miss any of these can't-miss events. Stay tuned to Fox Sports Radio 1340 for your chance to win VIP tickets to these events. GXW, where it really hurts.
Traditions Wings and Grill, the newest eatery in Petersburg, offering a delicious variety of flavor wings, fresh fish, and Southern-style dinners. Also, your finest classic grilled favorites that will satisfy any palate. Lunch specials every day from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. for just $5. 50-cent wings daily from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. And weekly manager specials make Traditions Wings and Grill the place where family, friends, and food meet at the table. Visit us today at 3140 South Crater Road in Petersburg, just across from Wawa, and get ready for some really good eating. For more information, call 804-863-1911. That's 804-863-1911. Or visit us on the web at www.traditionswings.com. That's Traditions with a Z. Traditions, Wings, and Grill.
Fox Sports 1340 AM presents to you WMER, Wrestling Marks of Excellence Radio, starring The Firm, J-Lo, Nephew, Corey, and Docta, bringing you the latest up-to-date information on professional wrestling and sports entertainment. Now, live from the Fox Sports 1340 studios in Hopewell, Virginia.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to WMER Wrestling, Marks of Excellent Wrestling. I'm your host, G-Lo, with Nephew, Corey, and Dr. D, and our special guest, the eight-time NWA World Tag Team Champ and one half of the Rock and Roll Express, Mr. Ricky Morton. Thank you for joining us, sir. We posed a question before you put a break. Would you like to answer that question, or Dr. D, state the question?
All right. The question again was, if you were just starting in the business today, how would you break into the business and draw with so many fans being pulled in by the UFC and boxing organizations, wrestling fans that are now becoming MMA fans and fans of Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao and those kind of names?
Well, the way I look at that, it's like in any sport that you do. First of all, it's your training. Mm-hmm. The training now, it's who trains you. It's like MMA when they go to these camps. It's the guys that run them that give them what they need to know about the business and how to draw and how to fight or how to work. It's basically the same thing. But see, in these days, and it's like anything there is, it's being at the right place at the right time and being ready. So you got to be ready. You got to prepare yourself. That's what I was talking to you guys earlier about. Me, I like to work with young kids that when their time does come, that they are ready. Sit down and talk to them. Let them know what this business is about, and when they put that weight on their shoulders, that these guys can go do this. And listen to me. I watch MMA. I watch these guys, and you see, it's some of the greatest things that you ever see. Some of the great athletes. But you got to understand, and to me, gentlemen, I don't know if you know the history of professional wrestling. You know, it's like MMA is like wrestling in the 40s, but MMA is different. You know what I'm saying? They beat the shit out of, excuse my language, they beat the crap out of each other. But understand me, it's a shoot. You got to be prepared. You got to be ready. Guys, I'm out here, and it's pouring down raining. Let me walk over here to finish answering your questions. But, it's a whole different thing. I'm not involved with MMA and UFC. Mine's a whole different category. They're a whole different business. They're a business that's real, that when they guys step in the ring, they fight for everything they've got, their lives. And you see, in the wrestling business these days, it's a matter if you're in a clique or if you know somebody.
Right.
And that's the way I look at it, guys. I'm sorry if I insulted anybody, but it's not about that.
No.
But it's wrestling and them are two different things. You understand? We're
Right.
a business that I don't try to come out here to insult anybody's intelligence. We're a business that we know what we're doing.
Right.
And UFC, they're a business that will winner takes all.
Mm-hmm.
So, in both categories, you got to be prepared to what you do and be ready for your chance. Make the right place at the right time, guys.
That's right. And
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Corey, do you have a question for Mr. Morton? I want to get you in. Go ahead.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do, Mr. Morton. Just touching back on when you were talking about the young talent that you're seeing that are really jumping out at you. I just wanted to know, with such people as the Dolph Zigglers and the Cody Rhodes that are really stepping up, these days, and who are young talent, are there any names that are coming to you that can come to you off the top of your head that you really see can be the quote unquote future of the business?
Yes, buddy. This is one, and I'm glad you told me this. You asked me this question. You see, I'm standing here, but I hope y'all can hear me. I'm at a wrestling show, and I was outside here trying to talk, but the bottom fell out, and it's raining. But see, and understand me, this is what this is all about, coming up our pay-per-view Saturday night on the 15th. At the Law of the Legends, there's a lot of guys on this show, too, and I'd love to have a TV show like this, guys, just because I wrestle every night on an independent thing. But, dude, let me tell you, I see some of the amazingest stuff out there that nobody even heard of these guys. They never get a chance because because nobody's there to see them. I got a guy coming up with me to the show. I ain't saying it because, I didn't train him. He already knew, but I talked to him, and I've been talking to him for years. Matter of fact, I'm the one that trained Kid Cash at TNA. And then I have a kid that's here with me tonight. His name is Chase Owens. That he's wrestled for Ring of Honor a couple of times. He's been on standby for it.
Right.
He's great. There's a lot of guys I can't mention their names because I meet so many that I know their faces. But if I encourage wrestling fans out there listening or out there to us, if there's a show going on in your town, go watch it because you're going to see some of the amazing stuff you got because these guys are trying to compete. They're trying to move to the next level.
Yeah, and that's true, Mr. Morton. If you could, so we up
when
against...
I'm on the show, a lot of times, I come out and watch the match where they're trying to impress me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But not knowing that, kid, you have to. If you want this business, you have to go get it.
Yep.
You have to make these independent shows. You have to make them.
Yes, sir.
Drive 500 or 600 miles a night to make the next one. It's just like anything you're doing. Until one time, somebody's going to recognize you.
And Mr. Morton, we up against the time, sir. I want to appreciate you. We're about 40 seconds out. Could you please tell everybody about the show this weekend real quick and put them in the seats about 40 seconds?
Oh, that, buddy, I got you. Here it comes down to it. It's me, Ricky Morton of the Rock and Roll Express, and I'm telling you, I'm 55 years old, but I'm in better shape than I was when I was 25. I've been looking forward to this match. It's been building up for all these years, and understand me, I know I'm stepping in the ring with a monster. I'm not telling everybody that I'm going out there that I'm going to beat Kevin Nash. I'm not going out there to tell him that I'm going to do this right here because I'll be insulting everybody's intelligence. But one thing I do know about this business, I'm a little bit smarter. I'm a little bit older. I'm a lot smarter.
Yes, sir.
This is a night of history, guys. I'm going to tell you, if you get a chance to see this and you tell everybody, this is a night of history is going to be made because you understand me. I knew years ago when this was going to because when you're in this business and you say something about somebody, your past always meet. Now, I want to thank you to AWE
Yeah,
for giving me an opportunity.
Thank you, Mr. Morton. We just wanted to
like this at the end of my career.
Mr. Morton, we just wanted.
Looking forward to it, buddy. Go ahead, bud.
Just wanted to tell you thank you, nephew Corey. Hit the catchphrase. We out of here.
And just remember this, everybody. If you're not confirmed, consider yourself denied.
Ladies and gentlemen, join us next week or hit us on Facebook. Out.
Thank you, Mr. Morton.
Thank you, Mr. Morton.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.